Oh, so in 2018 I got tinnitus, or tinnitus, however you want to call it. I prefer, tinnitus, because tinnitus is like a tonsillitis, sounds like tonsillitis or something. You can take some meds, antibiotics, and tonsillitis go away. But no, tinnitus is here to stay. So I prefer to use tinnitus. I'll use tinnitus. Anyway, look, if you've seen the shorter video, so come to the longer video. I'm going to sort of tell you the whole journey and what happened. Recorded this a few times. I've had my camera do all stupid stuff and it's annoyed me. I feel like I've said this story now a million times, but you haven't even heard it once now. So I kind of can't be, I'm not going to say I can't even be bothered, but I'm just going to do it. I feel like God's instructed me to do this, so I need to do it, all right? Whether you're a believer or not, I am. And I just have to do what I feel like I need to do. So, just pulled up at home, come home from work, and yeah, let's get to it then. So, 2018. I remember it was winter, it was in August sometime. It was a nice sunny day, a bit chilly in the afternoon. Sat down on a beanbag in front of the fireplace. Had a bit of a crappy day. I had some ideas and some ventures, business ventures and things I wanted to do, like my music and stuff. It didn't work out. Thought, okay, this is it. I've realised that I can't move any more forward. I can't move forward with this. So I was a bit annoyed. Started watching my son play. He was playing basketball outside. So I thought I'm going to go and teach him how to shoot a bit better. And I was a bit angry. And went outside and he overshot the ball. The ball went into the bushes. We got all yucca plants there. Yuccas are these little spiky plants. They grow all over the place. Big hardy sort of trees. A lot of people plant them because they're hardy. They don't need much water and all that. If I knew, I would have cut them all down. I knew what it was going to do to me. But I did cut bits down, so obviously I'm not like bloody Rambo cutting through these dangerous trees, or I didn't really think about it too much. But as I was coming back, it spiked me in the ear, and I fell down like a sack of potatoes. And look, the image I had at the time, it was strange. It was like this goblin was like almost poking it into my ear as it happened. As this creamy looking double chin, blobby looking thing. That's the image I got into my head as I was falling down. It was pretty crazy. And so, and the funny thing is as well that this right ear that I got like a bit of cartilage. I was born like that, like sticking out a little bit more. You can't tell, but I could tell there was something up when I used to put the old headphones in, and the old little molded ones, and that wouldn't fit in that ear. So so I have a smaller even ear canal, and imagine that this spike just spiked me, fell to the ground. I was like, whoa. So I got up, I felt like a broken toy, literally. It was all weird. I freaked out, I blacked out at the time, saw that image, and then got up, felt like a springy toy, springing around the place. It was like another character from the Toy Story movie. I was like the owner of Slinky or whatever. Well, I'm the new guy. Oh yeah, long lost father. Yeah, he was slinking around. I felt like that. I know it's sort of a bit of a funny, a joke twist to it. But at the time, I was freaking out. I really felt like I was on springs. And then the audible noise, things were just a bit more crunchy. It was pretty crazy. Went to the doctors. They didn't kind of believe my story. They thought I was putting ear washers or cleaning out wax and perforated my eardrum. I said, no, it happened from a plant. They're like, I'll go to the hospital. Hospital goes, yeah, you got a perforated eardrum. Here's some medication. Put the drops in your ear. You might have some plant material in there, so that you got to make sure we kill any germs or whatever. So okay, no worries then. Did that. That night I got home. It was a hard night because it was crunchy noises, everything was distorted. I wasn't like freaking out that it was like tinnitus and a loud noise. I was more freaked out about the process. I've had loud noises before, like interviews go to nightclubs or whatever. Back in the day, I don't even like the places, but back in the day we used to. And you come home with ringing ears. And then I was in a band. When I was like 17, 18, and I was like a singer and playing guitar, standing next to a cymbal, and none of us clowns had any ear protection, cymbal smashing away. And I remember one time going to bed, had a little little noise in there. It wasn't as loud as what it is now, because it was a noise that you'd never hear unless you go to bed, it's pitch silence, and then you finally hear it. But I noticed that, I was like, oh, that's not normal, I can hear something. And about a year later, actually my ear healed and I didn't hear it anymore. But now fast forward it, 18 years or whatever, now I have this thing, and now I'm, I was 2018 when it happened, so I was about, what am I, 6, 7, 8 years, 44, so I was like 36, 37, I'm 44 now. So yeah, it was, I've had it for a while now, and it doesn't say, like, it gets easier, but it doesn't mean that you like it, right? But I'll get into sort of, I got some notes here to sort of keep me in check. But so look, as I was recovering, so loud noise, I could even hear it in the shower, like it was that loud. But that's probably because I had to wear an earplug, and then the earplugs just, like, if you cover your ears, it's just amplified, like if you're wearing headphones as well, like earmuffs for work, sorry. It does amplify things. So as I'm recovering, I'm still like, it's a loud noise, but I'm just hoping it goes away. I'm not actually really, to tell you the truth, guys, I'm not feeding and I'm not biting it like that I'm fearing this noise. I was just like that it's happening. But very quick into my healing, I got put onto a guy, like, through a friend. It was a mutual, I got a friend, and his friend, I've met him before, and he rang me up and goes, hey, look, do you mind if this guy gives you a call? He's been ringing everyone up, and he's suffering of tinnitus, and they said, we don't want to listen to him anymore. It's driving us mad, and we don't even have the noise. And I was like, let him give me a call. I'm obviously, gone through it. And long story short, he had it for longer than me, and he was just not dealing well with it. He wanted to run into oncoming traffic. He was dealing that bad with it when he come over. He could actually hear a dog whistle. He developed like a hyperacusis. Get into that a little bit, like sensitivity in hearing, because he was focusing on it so much. He got into like the fight or flight mode so badly that he could honestly hear dog whistles. And I tested him. I downloaded a dog whistle. Now, I don't even know if there was a dog whistle and it was all bull crap, but I was turning it on and off. I couldn't hear anything. And when I did, every time I tested him, he could say I could hear it. So I was like, whoa, obviously there's some pitch. Obviously there was some frequency. I wasn't tapped into that, and his brain literally could hear dog whistles. So I was like, well, okay, that's not good. But trying to counsel him through it when I'm actually new to it, and he had it a lot longer than me, I started to develop this resentment, because he talked about it with so much hate and passion that I actually started to resent the tinnitus myself. And I started to think about it, and it started to drive me mad, and I'd go to bed and I'd be like, I started having a bad attitude, and I started to, he rubbed off on me. But look, that was at that time. But then when I get onto the next bit, is networking, right? So before I started to network, my only networking was with him, and that was a negative experience. Now, I'll get off him now, because I'll say, look, he's recovered. Like, his tinnitus is so low now, it's lower than mine. He's, after his whole ordeal, he went to some brain training and had all these like things put on his head, and he just went. He's quite scientific and stuff, so he went down that path, and he is good now. But he went mad. Like, he lost his business. He was a self-made millionaire through the stock market. Well, not millionaire. He had 1 million. He got to 1 million, and he had a nice car and everything. He went bankrupt, because he went mad. He started blowing all his money at the casino and trying to run away from the noise. So I can't say I helped him. I did help him, because he was going, Peter, how do you, like, now we talk about it, he goes, man, I thought you were like an ox, mate. You were strong as, like, dealing with this while I'm freaking out, trying to, go to loony bins, because he actually did go to like a, one of those centers to help him, because he was going nuts. But he's recovered, which is great. Now, one of the things that sort of prevented his recovery to begin with, since he's working, he wasn't as always, he wasn't a 9 to 5, obviously, because he was doing stock market. He had random hours. He ended up having a lot more time on his hands than, say, the average person. So he'd be on forums, reading things, and then he'd be, Peter, I read this, I read that, and I'm like, man, just don't. And I realised that the forums were a toxic place because they were all people like him at the point of their struggle, and none of them had updates on their recovery. So like even my friend, he didn't go back to the forum and go, look, yeah, I went and did this and now I'm feeling better. He would have left his comments as negative, and same with the other guys. So if someone went onto the forum and read him, they'll probably think he ended up doing something to himself, which isn't the case. Like, it does get easier, and as you're dealing with it, and you find different methods, and as you go on your journey, networking, it does get easier. Like, I'm not saying that it's a walk in a park and next minute you're 100% back to normal, because it's an injury. It's like having a broken leg. You might have to go on crutches for a while, but you eventually get off the crutches, but you may not be the same again, or it's something's just hindered you. Like you might you may be the same, but you're not 100%, and it's just something that you have to deal with. Like, you might break your leg and go, look, I can't be a high jumper or a hurdleist anymore, but I can still get back to normal. I can still run and do it, but I'm just not that athlete anymore. Okay, look, you have to readjust. I mean, there's failure in life all the time. You just got to readjust. So, networking. That was my first bit of network. I ended up having a bit of resentment. Not resentment, probably a bad attitude towards it. So, funny enough, as I'm talking about it, my next door neighbour, he ended up having tinnitus. He got stuck in a road rage incident, and some guy came and smashed a bottle on the side of his head. His ear was bleeding out and everything. It was crazy. He said he was passed out on the floor. I don't even think they even caught the guy, which is pretty crazy. But he said, look, Peter, it doesn't bother me. I just have this noise. I just continue on in my life. He goes, it's actually good if I hear things annoy me, birds or parties or things going on. I just sleep with my good ear in the pillow. This ear's just making the noise, and it drowns out every other noise. I don't hear things. I'm dealing with a grey, so I didn't want to actually fully put my true. I was like, man, I'm struggling a bit with this. I didn't want to put that in his head because I saw he was doing so well. I didn't want to hinder him, and I asked him a few more questions, and I was like, all right, man, okay, well, that's positive. And then it turns out one of my friends as well, he had it since he was 7, and I've known him since I was year 6, right? And I knew that he had a bad ear because we used to even play in a band, and when we're sitting and having a beer or something, he'd always say, speak up if he wasn't making eye contact. That's my bad ear, And I always knew that his right ear was bad. And it wasn't only until I got tinnitus. So imagine now, I'm 36, 37, and I've known him since I'm, 8 years old or 9 years old, and then he told me that he's got the tinnitus, and he's just louder than mine, and mine's pretty loud. I can hear it. I can hear it slightly now, and I've got the aircon on in the car. It's a bit airy. It's not like a solid tone, but it's it's got an air. It's got some airy quality to it, but then still has a little bit of a solid tone. It's hard to describe. People, you probably, someone that's got it will probably go, yeah, I know what you're saying. It could sound like a toilet filling up and you got that little high tinge to it or something. It's weird, but it changes too. Now, and then he told me his story that he had born with a hole in his ear, and he had to have grommets, and his eardrum didn't close up properly, and then he noticed from when he was, when they were, talking about it, when he was 7 years old, he would talk about, the noises that he could hear, and they couldn't help him. And then so he's had that his whole life, and he just said, look, Peter, you got to make friends of it. It's here for the rest of my life, and I just got to make measures. I don't like silence as much, but he goes, I've always kind of was like that, so I don't know any different. I put things on, music or whatever, just to so I don't have to be sitting there listening to it. But if I do have to listen to it, I don't make it an enemy. I don't panic. I could, you can make any noise your enemy if you want to. If you got some rooster every morning, or you got crows, or you got magpies, or in Australia we've got magpies. They're quite noisy during mating season. You can kind of make an enemy out of anything. So my wife just got home. So. And I was like, that's good advice, yeah. And I was like, okay. So I asked a couple of things that he does, and and I was like, oh, that's kind of what I do already. So I'll get to that, a bit of sound therapy sort of towards the end. But yeah, I lost my train of thought there, sorry. Yeah, so I remember, yeah, look, with his noise being loud, I remember asking him once, we're at a pub, and I was like, can you hear it? And he's like, because I couldn't hear mine, the noise of the whole atmosphere was louder than my noise in my ear, and then it drowned it out. But he was I'm just looking at my wife's door, just probably thinking, what's he doing? He's sitting in the car, why is he there? Yeah, so his noise, he goes, and I remember he was concentrating. He's like, yeah, I can hear it. And I was like, whoa, okay, yeah, all right, no worries. So yours is well and truly louder than mine. So I was like, okay. So that gave me sort of hope, because with my sound, what happened was, I'll get into this next bit now, sound fluctuation, right? So as you've got sound, you might eventually get to a stable sound, and then it will fluctuate. So you might get a couple of days of something bad. My little boys can run out next to the car. You might get something bad. Something might happen to you. Something might trigger it, and the noise will be louder. And like through sound editing, sometimes that triggered it, because I was listening so much like to vocal editing and all that I would end up hearing like frequencies and paying attention to them more than I should be. And so that sometimes then my brain didn't relax yet or recover, so it was still looking and searching. And then when I'd sit down and relax, my brain just searched and found that listened to the tinnitus more, so it ended up irritating me. So that kind of triggered it. I had triggers like, I think with altitude, I don't know, going up and down the lifts, because that's sort of at that same time I noticed. Now I'll get to this last bit. I noticed an extra sound in my head. And it was the same time I went up on this big job site that I haven't done for, it was probably the first job in ages that I had to work up about 10 stories up in a lift, and I had to go up and down, getting my tools going up and down. And that same day, as I went into a car and closed the door, I heard this little noise in my head, like in the middle. So that noise and another noise inside there. Now, I'll make another video how I had a stent at age 38. Yeah, I've done a lot. And I was on medications, like I was on statins. I'm not on them now, and I'll make a video why or whatever. That's another video, that's another topic. But that one I researched, and it said that side effects can be tinnitus. And I was like, what? Okay, so I was like, all right. So that could be tinnitus, or could be going up and down lifts. But that both set a red flag for both at that same day. Now, when I was racking my brain, I'll go back to Adam. The reason why was because the first, say, 2 years, I ended up, doing one of these sound therapies that I just call it sound therapy, the way, just, getting through the night in a positive way that didn't seem like it was disruptive to myself. I eventually got to the point where I could even wake up with the noise and my brain even wouldn't go there. Got really good. Then after that 2 years, when I was on the meds and in the lift, and I heard that extra noise, that freaked me out. Because I was like, man, haven't I had enough of that? Like, I'm going to a point where this is good, it's not bothering me, and now I can hear another noise? And that was really terrifying. And that actually, for about 2 years, was intermittent. It actually was solid for like a year, and I had to learn how to deal with that again, and just realize that that's a part of my life. So it was like a double noise, man, which is pretty tough. And now a couple of years in, like now, it's sort of every now and then, if I'm really stressed or anything, that noise will be intermittent now. Very rarely hear it now. But sometimes I do, and then it still makes me a bit panicky. It makes me a bit anxious. I'm like, oh no! But again, then I just have to take measures again, and then just relax my brain. But that was a strange thing, and that made me feel like a trigger now on the lift. I know it's probably the medication and the lift, but I still don't want to go now get caught up and down on the lift. So if I go to a job and I need to do it, I'll bring a car, and I kind of do all these preventative measures. I'll load up so I can prevent going up and down, or if I need to go up and down, I'll just do extra cardio. I'll bomb it all the way down the stairs, and then I'll go up, so I'm just preventing going up and down. You know, it just makes me feel comfortable. So yeah, so basically, yeah, so that can happen, sound fluctuation. So as you now, like, you maybe if it's new to you, your sound might be blaring, but through relaxing your brain, networking, knowing that there's people out there, and then obviously for some sound, no, when I say sound therapy, it's not some high-tech stuff, it's just a way to keep your brain occupied. I'll keep saying sound therapy, I'm going to give you some revolutionary thing, some treatment. No, it's just some tricks and tips to get by. So I might as well just get to it now. Silence. Something that I don't want to do, something that I don't want to really experience too much. Easiest way to say it. I'll come home, if I'm the first one home, if I'm occupied, right, and I'm doing stuff and I'm on the motion, like exercise honestly helps you, trust me, get back to exercise and get mentally well, get fit and healthy. Like that helps. Kicking ass in your goals if you're new business or expanding your business, like really keeping focused, being a better parent, doing anything, you have to keep a little bit busier, and if you do those things, trying to even be a better person will help you mentally. Like anything positive really helps you now with sound, because anything negative, and even eating bad and too much sugars and all that, it can has a negative effect. So if you sit there just eating junk food all day, feeling sorry for yourself, the sound's going to be worse. If you try to just move on, be more positive, it definitely sound will improve just through positivity. But I'll come home, and if I'm positive, I've had a good day doing stuff, it's fine. I won't even notice it. Then I might notice it a little bit. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's there. All right, I don't get alarmed. Put the TV on in the background if I'm doing some quotes or writing some paperwork after I got home. I might put a little podcast on in the background. Fine. I'm at work. I have the radio on, but not much anymore. I kind of put the headphones on, the earbuds on, and I'll listen to podcasts and stuff like that. So that's good. So you kept busy, and it's fine. Driving to work now on a longer trip, I don't even have to have anything on. I have the window down a little bit, my thoughts, having a coffee. It doesn't even threaten me anymore. Probably the other thing now is when you go to bed. Obviously, that's the quietest time. Yeah, my missus doesn't like loud noise, and wants the darkness. Doesn't want to telly on all night. So that's fine. I have to respect that. So if we go to bed and she goes to bed earlier, sometimes if I happen to go there, TV will be on. Chill out, and then she'll turn it off on a timer or something like that, and then I'm like, okay, well, before I'd be like, what do I do now? But I got caught on early that I needed to do something else, and it's sort of because I was always kind of used to noise. I always liked kind of noise more than silence, really. I would always have music on, and when I was a kid, I'd have sleep with my old tape deck and listen to music every night going to bed. So you can sleep well having something going on. So don't think that even if you're tinnitus, you go, how the hell can my brain relax? It can. It tones it out, zones out. It's only when you wake up, you panic and you'll listen to it again. But so what I do is I have a tablet next to me, brightness all the way down. I've got some Beat Flex little headphones with it's a wire, but it's wireless, but that's connected together. So if it drops out during the night, I can just pick it up, put it back in there. I don't have to mess around trying to get the individual ones. You find if you put the little individual ones, you might lose it during the night. You might wake you up too much trying to find them. So I have them because they're nice and easy. And I'll put a TV show, something that I've watched a million times. I'll rotate between Big Bang Theory, Friends, How I Met Your Mother, 2.5 Men, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think I'm just going through Young Sheldon now. I've seen it heaps of times. It's nothing that keeps my brain that interested. It's not like some podcast or listening to something or some drama or watching the Vikings or Last Kingdom or something like that I'm kind of really interested in. I still like these shows, but they're really, to me, they're not really I'm not learning anything or whatever like that. They're non-threatening to me. I wake up, I might listen to it for a little bit, and I don't really care what I don't mind what's happening next. So I'll put those on, and they're great. Like, I'll fall asleep, I'll wake up during the night, I'll just put one earplug in there, even if this ear is going off. I'll put that in there and I'll just listen to that a little bit, and I fall asleep, and I really don't have any problem sleeping. And that's my crutch, that's my little thing. I do that so much now that it's automatic, that I don't feel like I'm escaping. And I don't like the white noise and those types of therapy, because I found when I tried them to begin with, found like I was escaping from the tinnitus, not coping with it. I was running too much with that idea, and those patterns for me became predictable. My brain eventually was listening to it. Oh, every 30 seconds this happens and that, and I just pulled it apart, and it wasn't like a natural sound. I'd rather have a natural waterfall or the beach crashing, the waves. Yeah, because that's unpredictable, it's different. My brain won't find a pattern, but through these therapies it did, and it felt, honestly, that noise, that green noise, and I tried white noise, and it was like, and honestly I felt like when my tinnitus was bad that day or that night, that, you know, when I did editing or if something was rampant, I'd done something, that was just horrible for me. But putting on a TV show and doing that, it was so much better. And when you're in a better mood, you can deal with it a lot better. I found another little trick if it was irritating me. So if I'm sitting down on the couch, the TV speaker's a bit further away, and this is loud and I can hear it, and my brain's listening to it. And it happens every now and then, even now after these many years, it might irritate me, and I've had a day and I'm a bit pissed off. Bang, I'll sit there and I'll scratch my head. And sometimes when I'm scratching, the sound is louder than that scratch noise. Okay, so that's in comparison how loud my tinnitus can be even now still on a random day. It's louder than that. Something like tight muscles will trigger it. Like if I've been driving heaps or exercise, I did some bad exercise, or I got tense somewhere. If that's tense, or even in my jaw, like right now it is a bit, because I've been on a job that I've been driving like an hour and 20 minutes there and back on a renovation. I do tiling and stuff, so yeah, that's kind of tighten it up, and with that restriction there, sometimes it might get a little bit louder. So I got to massage that through as well, or my jaw do some weird, stuff. But sometimes I do the scratching noise, and then I start, look at my phone, or look at the TV, and then I stop thinking about it, because I don't want to go there and be like that all night and really freak myself out. And if it happens to be at night time that it's like that, and I'm just not coping that much, I will literally I'll put my arm in a comfortable position, and I'll just scratch, have the TV show on there, and then I'll just fall asleep. And I'll fall asleep, and then I have a good night's sleep, wake up, and you don't want to think about it. You don't want to keep thinking about it. You want to keep busy. Don't make it your enemy. All right, definitely don't. Like that scratching, that thing, helps. And last of all is God. I have faith, as you can maybe tell from the video. I wasn't always a Christian. I'll tell you my testimony. I'm not going to fully want to preach to you now, because you come here for the tinnitus video. But having faith and being a man of the Lord these days, that's why I made this video. Because when God put on my heart to delete all my channel, all my music and everything, and start again, and goes, make your first video about tinnitus. So that's what I'm doing. But that was all the way in August. I'm a bit of a slow learner. It took me ages. I had some things happen, a lot of months. I'll make a video about that. It's almost, you can write a novel about it. But now I'm finally making it. But Lord, through the night I would pray, give me a way out, give me something, something have something happen, help me just get through it. And the Lord always, through these times, will put something there and just get me through the times. And I'm here since 2018, and I'm making a video to you guys. And look, there's people out there living with it, and we all living with it. Not all, but yeah, there's a lot of people living with it, and we are living perfectly happy, great lives. So you can too.